Welcome back to another episode of Frankly Speaking Sports. I'm Jack. This is
MT.
And we got a very special episode coming at you today. We're doing our official mock draft here at Frankly Speaking Sports. We got the draft coming up tomorrow, so I felt like it was very fitting to, drop our first official. I mean, kind of done like 20 mock drafts because my team has sucked since fucking October, but, whatever. So anyway, before we do the mock draft, how you feeling today?
I feel a little fatigued. Had a long weekend.
Okay.
A little down because of Pope dead and everything.
It was Easter and 420.
Yeah.
All that good stuff. Yeah.
Not that I indulged, but I was still just indulging in other areas though. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's not too late. You want to?
No. Somebody gave me a bottle of mimosa last night. I didn't indulge it, but I was like,
just a quick.
It's the thought that counts. Nah. I've never done it, and this
Don't
is probably
say I ain't never tried.
not the appropriate. That's kind of earthy too. That's a very earthy tone there.
See, hardly anything come out. It's a vapor.
Mm.
I'm watching the playback and I just heard what you said about the Pope, and it's like,
Yeah, the Pope bought the farm. So.
Wait, what are you talking about?
I was watching on YouTube to make sure the sound was good, and all I hear is, yeah, I'm okay, the Pope's dead.
Crazy work. But anyway, yeah, man, we finna get into this mock draft. So we doing round one tomorrow. I feel like it's fitting for us to do the round one mock. So if Mr. Sir here was more prepared, we would be doing an even odd thing, but somebody was
I dropped
a
the
little
ball.
preoccupied.
I was very much occupied.
So anyway, we got the Tennessee Titans with the first pick. They need a quarterback. Cameron Ward is on the board. I got them taking Cam Ward. I feel like that's a no-brainer.
He's everybody's first pick.
For Tennessee, yeah. I don't think he's the best player in the draft by a stretch, but as far as the quarterbacks are concerned, definitely. For pick 2, I don't know. I'm leaning between whether Cleveland wants to impact both sides of the football, and a player like Travis Hunter, or if you want to just have defensive football and pair Abdul Carter. I don't know, Chad. I think y'all should help me out. What you think they should do?
It goes to back what we were actually talking about as far as
Do you guys to play both sides of the ball?
Not on a continual basis.
Hey, I don't think he understands that he's not gonna be able to go lock A.J. Brown and then turn around and go Moss, Cooper DeJean in the. Like, I don't think he quite understands the perplexities of, professional football yet. I mean, I understand because most college players come out with this air about themselves, a sense of bravado where it's like, okay, yeah, I'm going to be the best player. I've done this. I've accomplished this. I should be able to do it once we get to the pros, and it work like that.
He's still in the F around phase.
Yeah, he ain't found out yet.
But
I do think he's going to play both sides. I do think he's going to play both sides.
When you say that, like, what's the percentage? Like, what do you think? Like,
Well, like if I were smart GM or coach, I would play him primarily at corner and work him in packages on offense at receiver instead of playing as a full-time, receiver. I guess it could work either way if you're going to use him like a slot corner.
That makes sense.
But slot corners are – a lot of teams run that nickel package a lot. So, 100 snaps in college and 100 snaps in the pros in a game, I'm just saying, it puts a lot of wear and tear on the body come week 17, 18. But
I mean, I look at how slightly built he is, and I don't see him playing both sides of the ball on a regular basis.
he has a frame where he can still play weight on
It's
though. He
different.
ain't got his grown man weight yet.
It's different when like playing two different sports. Like I think Dion being in his ear is one thing too. Whereas like different sports, I play baseball, football, but it's different. It's still
But
like
hell, even
that's-
Dion would tell you he wasn't the best athlete.
but not even in that. Just saying like it's possible. Like you can do it, son. Like having people in your ear like that.
Cause he give Bo Jackson. Like he used to give like mad props to Bo Jackson. But for the sake of the, I got Cleveland taking Abdul Carter.
As do
Number
I.
2.
Yeah, I watched a special on him this weekend. And I started putting him on the air this much for nothing.
Crazy thing, man. I think he has the potential to. I'm not. This is a lazy comp. I feel like just because of Penn State, but I genuinely feel like he has a comp of a Micah. Have a Micah Parsons and a Myles Garrett still in his prime would be fucking crazy. So obviously I would have New York taking Travis Hunter here. Have the New England Patriots at 4 taking the offensive Will Campbell.
They kind of do need to shore up the offensive line a little bit.
Agree, and I think they just gave the defensive line a bag. So
I'm wondering what they're going to be like under a new coach this year, because they didn't give my guy like any opportunity. Really, I mean, he came in with empty cup, had to come at an optimal level. I thought, with respect to the talent that he had been dealt.
yeah, Gerard Mayo definitely got the shit in.
And I've seen people come in with a lot in the cupboard, like John Gruden, and just take a team from spectacular to mediocre, and he's considered a legend right now. And I'm thinking, John Gruden has never came into a team.
He was John Gruden for what he was able to accomplish in Tampa. He ironically did that up. He inherited that team.
That's
from
what
Tony
I mean.
Dungy.
He had a
Oh,
loaded.
see, I thought you were talking about what he did in Oakland.
No.
Or
How
Vegas.
he inherited a full coach.
Yeah.
So he was supposed
definitely.
to
won the
succeed.
championship.
Yeah.
I mean, it was kind of like, and I don't want to. Well, actually, I'm not even gonna do that. But so I got the Jacksonville Jaguars here at 5. I have them taking Mason Graham, defensive tackle, Michigan.
That's my guy.
I know everybody thinks that the Las Vegas Raiders are gonna take Ashton at 6, and you're gonna hear it from me here first. Maybe not first, but you're gonna hear it here from me. Damn it, Pete Carroll drafted a running back first round. I don't think this is the first year he's going to. You know what he had first round? Lineman. I think that's what they're gonna do here, and I think they're gonna take Armand Mimbo 8 off tackle out of Missouri.
I mean, there'll be enough running backs in the draft later on down the line for him to get a running back. And I agree, because running backs who are spectacular, very seldom do they pan out in the pros.
This is a very running back draft, at least with the prospects. You got a very deep class.
Exactly.
I have the Jets taking Ted McMillan, wide receiver out of Arizona, get Justin Fields some help.
He's going to need it.
Definitely might need it.
I think that wide receiver is the one position that is most similar in college to the pro. Run very well, and you got sufficient speed. I think it translates to the pros very, very. I mean, I look at all the guys from Ohio State who went to the pros, and all the guys from Alabama that went to the pros who still succeeded. And then I look at all the running backs that they've had come into the league. It took some time to get under them, for the most part.
Okay. I have the Carolina Panthers at 8. Taking Will Johnson. I think they need help at corner and on defense just in general. So he's a cornerback out of Michigan. You know, somebody you guys should be very familiar with. Doing something popular, but a couple weeks ago when I felt like this could happen before the whole my shoulder hurt from Derek Carr thing, came out. I thought that they got a new coach. He's a new offensive mind, and he's probably gonna want to get his quarterback of the future. So I have the Saints drafting Shadur Sanders at 9.
That wasn't Dion objected to.
Yeah, he came out and said he likes the city, he likes the colors, he likes the food. Like, hey, you know. And so the interesting thing, I always thought he was going to try to push for New York because he knew that was a place that was kind of on the hot seat. You know, even though I like Brian Daboll, I do believe if they're not successful this season that he, you know, might be on the Chicago Bears trajectory, draft a quarterback, fire coach, hire a new coach. I don't like the quarterback, repeat, wash, rinse, repeat. Here my Bears are probably going to run to the podium. If I'm them, I'm sprinting to the podium to draft Ashton Genty at 10. Also, brief caveat, in this draft, in this mock draft, there aren't going to be any trades. We just going straight through and, you know, drafting as is. Obviously, there are going to be trades that happen. Historically, there's always about 5 trades that happen. This is actually the first draft in quite some time where leading up to the draft, every team has their original pick. So, you know, normally these around. So, something a little bit different. They just lost a receiver. The receiver. I think they're going to start the receiver clock over. They're going to go draft Matthew Golden, wide receiver from Texas. And with that being said, I believe the Dallas Cowboys at 12 are going to go get Dak Prescott some running back help and draft a Marion back from North Carolina. Derrick Henry 2.0. The poor man's Derrick Henry, as he likes to be referred to. I believe are going to want to shore up the trenches, either offensive line or defensive line. I have them doing something a little different. In the last mock draft, I had them taking Kelvin Banks. Here I have them taking offensive guard Tyler Booker out of Alabama. Best offensive guard, well, natural position offensive guard. Tackle guard hybrids or tackles that they feel like would make better guards for whatever reason, arm length, reach. Nope, wrong side. I have the Indianapolis Colts taking Tyler Warren, the tight end. If I can get the damn go down so we can get to the next picks. Okay, here we go.
Yeah, their coffers are pretty empty.
Yeah, they need help, but they have receivers. They have a running back, but they got pretty much no production, you know. So I think from their tight ends, if you want to help out your, you know, young investments at quarterback, I think getting them a security blanket or a safety valve would help out. So I think Tyler Warren could be that. Atlanta, I have them taking Jalen Walker, the linebacker from Georgia. I have the Arizona Cardinals taking Shamar Stewart, 13, edge from Texas A&M. Technically, the Cincinnati Bengals also desperately need defensive help. I have them taking Mike Green, edge, Marshall. So this is an interesting position. At 18, we have the Seattle Seahawks. Seattle Seahawks have a couple holes I believe they can fill.
Receiver?
Definitely need a receiver after just losing out on DK Metcalf.
He was kind of getting a little longer in tooth, though. I don't think he's going to really do all that flourishing at Pittsburgh like everybody thinks he is.
So, last mock draft, I had them taking Emeka Uboma.
Mm-hmm.
This mock draft, I actually have them taking Luther Burden, wide receiver out of Missouri. Man, I'm not gonna lie. I watched his some of his tape over the weekend. This guy is explosive with the football in his hands. The stop start ability, the ability to be shifty, get in. Just he's an overall playmaker. Like I really think he's going to be. And this is not a knock on Amika. After going back, he's literally the same kind of receiver as Jackson Jigba. They're both like slot receivers. So I don't think drafting another slot receiver when you just got a slot receiver from Ohio State really makes a lot of sense. So I switch it up. So at pick 19, we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think Tampa Bay goes defense, and they take defensive tackle out of Oregon, Derek Harmon. I think the Broncos at 20 also need help at the end. I have them taking Colston Loveland, tight end from Michigan. I have doing something a little different. I think they go get their quarterback of the future in Jalen Milroe. I think
You just said over Dark.
I think my whole thing with Jackson Dart, in my opinion, he is what's the quarterback from the the Jets that they drafted a couple years ago? The 2021 draft, the same draft Fields came out of. Zach Wilson. He's Zach Wilson. He's Zach Wilson. I has a strong arm, and depending on the system getting drafted to, like he might have some success. But if he ends up in a team where hey, savior from day one, Zach Wilson. So yeah. So yes, I have them, and I think Jalen Milroe has a little more rawness to him that can develop. The guy has 4.2, 4.3 speed, and he kind of reminds you of a poor man's Jalen Hurts. When Jalen Hurts came in the league, he got benched for Tua. You know what I mean? So no one was thinking he was going to be anything, and he always had the athleticism, and then the passing game got refined. So from a character standpoint, I think he'll be more successful. Coming from Alabama, they're always pro-made, So I think he'll be successful, especially with Mike Tomlin. Like, I think that's the best spot for him, and I think they're comfortable not having to trade up to get their quarterback of the future. At 22, I have the Los Angeles Chargers. A lot they can do here.
It's a lot they need to.
To be honest, I think they go get a receiver if I'm them. Now, what's keeping me from making this pick, because this would be an easy pick for me, but I'm putting my mind in the organization. Harbaugh wants to run the football. He wants to run the football.
It's a deep class too.
It is, and I just, to me, I don't think that would be something that they would do. Like, it's an easy pick for me to make because it's like this is a team need, and but thinking, I don't know. You got these defensive players just sitting here. They drafted Latu. No, Latu went to the Colts. Who did they? Jared Verse. Do you pair him with Mykel Williams, the edge out of Georgia? Do you help solidify the back end and get Kai Starks or Nick Emenwar, who are the best safeties in the draft? Do you go Jahdae Barron and get another corner? Jahad Campbell, maybe the linebacker in so Jalen Walker is more of a linebacker edge hybrid. So just pure on-ball linebacker. You got Jahad Campbell. I think there's a lot that you can do here. I think they end up taking Malachi Starks. He's the better of the two as far as hybrid corner, can play in the box, can also play free safety, where kind of got the ball hawk skills. Have the Green Bay Packers at 23 taking a safety. They take Nick Emenwari. They need help on the bend. 24, I think the Minnesota Vikings, they just invested a lot in their trenches. It's also a team that doesn't have a whole lot of holes. Like, the biggest glaring hole I could say for Minnesota would be quarterback, because he's such a, you know what I
He's
mean?
an unknown.
So
But he did shine in the preseason, but that was the preseason.
I was finna say, now I know goddamn well when here talking about for the last 2 years Fields in the preseason, the year before last, and then last year watching Caleb. Here you go, preseason. Now you gonna sit here and tell me what J.J. McCarthy did in preseason? I know, boy.
But,
Won't you look at that?
No, I'm just saying the way they fawned all over him in the preseason, he was far ahead of the expectations, is what I understand. That he had grasp of the offense and he was a lot more athletic than they anticipated. So I'm like, he was everything Kirk Cousins was not. So okay.
I think a pretty good spot for the Minnesota Vikings to take. They invested a lot on their defensive and offensive lines. They don't need wide receiver. You don't need a running back. So the Houston Texans, I have taken Kelvin Banks Jr., offensive tackle out of Texas. I feel like that is a very fitting transition. You know, Texas.
Houston was a solid team last year. They just
but they
caught a few bad picks to me.
They also traded their left tackle. They traded Laramie Tunsil to Washington. So they have a very glaring need. I think the LA Rams.
How much longer can Matthew Stafford go in that league, though? Because he's ancient by now. He's still effective, but he's still ancient.
Me personally, they're all in on Matthew Stafford, and even if they did take a draft, I don't think it would be. They just lost Cooper Kupp. I think they would go get a receiver there to help out with Puka Nacua. I have them taking Emeka
Cooper Kupp
Ibuka.
was injury prone as of
They
late.
like receivers but they also like the part of it is they like receivers that block.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you have Puka Nacua, you have Devontae Adams at the X, and then you get Ibuka to play the slot receiver and just let them have fun. You know what I mean? That'll be an explosive offense. The Baltimore Ravens take Gray Zabel, offensive guard from North Dakota State. Now, before I make this pick, do you want to make the pick? We got the Lions.
I knew you was coming up with that.
We got the Lions here at 28, and I just wanted to make sure the resident Lions fan. Also, in the comment section, since most of you guys are Lions fans, let me know, or even if you're not Lions fans, let me know who your favorite team is and you want your favorite team to draft in the first round, if you could do your mock drafts. And if you're doing a mock this season, drop your mock draft screenshot pictures in the comments below. I love to see them and comment on them, see where there's different, see where your heads are.
We need a defensive end, without question.
I would agree, man, but I keep hearing you guys want a fucking receiver. For some reason, I keep hearing you guys want a receiver, and are gonna trade Jamison Williams. Me personally, I would go get a receiver and keep Jamison Williams, but I don't know. For the sake of this draft, I'm gonna agree with you, and we're gonna take someone to help pair with Aiden Hutchinson here. So the best defensive ends: Mykel Williams, edge, Georgia.
I can live with that pick.
I figure I got to be realistic and fair. If I'm gonna put my mind in the framework of the GM of these teams, I can't just fuck the Lions when it comes to the Lions pick. I got to be real here. We got the Washington Commanders at 29.
They need somebody on that O line as well.
I definitely think so. I have them taking Walter Nolan, defensive tackle out of Ole Miss. Buffalo Bills at 30.
Everybody should be back this year as far as the injuries. They had a very solid team last year. But, I mean, to me, Josh Allen's heroics were kind of because he needed a little protection, if you ask me. He took off a lot, but a lot of times he took off out of necessity.
See, I would actually lean defensive line. They lost out. Oh, they went and got Joey Bosa, which was the dumbest shit to me because I felt like they traded one aging superstar for another aging superstar who's always hurt. So,
I watched Joey Bosa kind of take a crap in his pants.
Zabel going 27 to the Baltimore Ravens. Why did I want to call them the Baltimore Colts? I wasn't even fucking alive then. We got Mykel Williams, 28, going to the Detroit Lions. We got Walter Nolan going 29 to the Washington Commanders. We got Josh Simmons going 30 to the Buffalo Bills. I'm just butchering fucking names. Tyleek Williams going 31 to the Kansas City Chiefs. And James Pierce Jr. rounding out the draft at 32 going to the reigning Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles.
Okay, so let's just play Mr. Optimist today instead of my normal devil's advocate. If all of these players here pan out, I ain't saying they blaze any saddles, nothing like that, but if they all pan out, which team do you think is going to be in a mix with their draft picks? Going to be the most beneficial to what teams?
Shit. Well, to be 100% honest, that's a little difficult to answer in a nutshell because all of them are going to have different impacts, right? So for players like Cam Ward, who go number one, last year we literally saw Will Levis give games away. Like 3 games I could personally think of where he gave games away. So if he's an inkling better than what Will Levis was able to give for you, like that could result in, winning a few more games. I think Travis Hunter in New York could definitely, help out. I think Will Campbell helping out fucking Drake May, keeping him upright. They went and got Stephon Diggs.
Mm-hmm.
So they got some, help for him. Omarion, the last time or every time that you've seen Dak Prescott play at his best and they've been successful is when they're able to run the football. Obviously, I could go Genty at 10 if he actually does fall to the Bears, actually giving Ben Johnson the thunder. And I'm going to let y'all keep the Sonic bullshit. Y'all can keep that moniker. We want thunder and lightning over here. But having him ability to have players that could fit the mold of, what he was able to be successful in Detroit. Shedeur Sanders and fucking Colorado, coming out of Colorado, I don't think they should have retired jersey number. Me personally, I think that was some daddy's kid. She didn't even retire Cordell Stewart's number, and he put up better numbers, led them to conference championships. So it's just like successful. kid. That was a daddy's kid reward. Now I would retire Travis Hunter's jersey because fuck, it's not too often. I mean, he won the Heisman. Played both ways, generational talent. So
you think he's a big splash in the NFL though?
I think he has the potential to. There's no other player in the draft that is going to affect both sides of the football.
No.
So, or has the potential to affect both sides of the football. I think Mykel Williams. Anytime you get one of those Georgia linemen, them not to be fucked with, and to be able to pair him with Aiden Hutchinson, if he, want to see, because I talk shit a lot, and one of the things I talked shit about was just the volume numbers. He got like 5 sacks that one game, but outside of that, he only had like half sacks just last year. But so to actually pair him with someone that can get after the quarterback is scary. I wouldn't want to see that as a Bears fan, but like I said, I can't be biased when I do the mock drafts. I can't be realistic with every other team and get to Detroit. I mean, historically you could, because sometimes you guys made some dumb. Recently I like Brad Holmes doing so. But I think a lot of these players, even like you said, if they pan out, I do like how some of the players have the effect the teams. Like Green, edge out of Marshall for Cincinnati. They desperately need defensive help. They brought all their guys back. They didn't really do too much. They didn't have the money to do too much in free agency. Got these picks in this draft. Let's, try to solidify this defense and make a run at it. Me personally, I just think a lot of these guys have the potential. Kelvin Banks, they need a tackle to replace Tunzel, in Houston.
I think personally the wave of the future is going to be actually build from your draft picks, because I think free agency is too volatile, and you don't hardly get any return going free agency anymore.
Sure you don't want to hit, man?
Pretty sure.
Bro, it's 420. You want to hit it, side? It's 420. So I was going. You know what? Fuck it. Fuck y'all. I'm gonna hit the pen, damn it, Benjamin. But yeah, I do like the talent that they have coming out of the draft. I understand that they say it's after like the first drop off in the talent, but if you're trying to build your team up, man, the draft is the way to go. Mostly free agents are becoming free agents and hitting that free agent market for a reason. You know what I mean? Because homegrown talent, for the most part, they try to keep in-house. So, I
thought free agent, that's all that was. That
it definitely has ruined college football.
And I'm like,
have you seen the situation going on with the Tennessee quarterback?
Yes, I have. It's bizarre. Is under some immense pressure to perform now.
I don't blame him. I blame the school. Part of it is when you have these big ass schools with these battling individual, it's kind of hard to. It's like getting into it with CNN. It's like, well, good luck. It's not too much you're going to be able to. They control their narrative through the media. They have a very. So let me. It wasn't all the money. A lot of it, the money was a part of it. Then I'm hearing part of it was them offering him something and him not the money not lining up how it was supposed to. But the bigger portion of it is the fact that they're unwilling to change their style of offense. Quarterback from Tennessee, as of recently, have been able to thrive in the NFL under the system. You look at the last quarterback that just got drafted, backup, your boy. You know what I mean? Like, they're unsure if they even want him to be the backup. So you come into the NFL so raw, and he's like, look, I want to make it more style offense. They're change his Art Briles offense from Baylor. Will Baylor, the quarterback you saw be successful outside of Robert Griffin III, and he wasn't a good passer, a runner. That's what made that offense run ironically. So I just think before you are quick to judge the narrative, get both sides of the story. You know what I mean? Because it's funny to be quick to see the narrative that they put out there and just run with it and make fun of them and laugh at them and be like, oh, we'll have fun at UCLA. But a part of it is if UCLA runs his style, number 2 quarterback in that class, only behind Arch. So it's not like he's a bust. The kid has some talent, at least for the level. So, go in a system that provides you with the opportunity that you need to thrive. And I like that he was willing to take less money to do it, to show I am who I think I am. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Now, the other side of it, you got to go show us. You got to make it happen. So,
yeah, I think that the pressure on college athletes to perform with this NIL stuff on the board now is going to be exponentially increased.
I think the NIL is helping because the college athlete has the ability to earn an income and to understand the business aspect of the world that they're getting to as far as professional athletes. For those that won't be able to go be professional athletes, you can still go earn an income. Mm-hmm. And they make money. They profit off of the players out on the field from a jersey, marketing standpoint, ticket sales. They are the product on the field, so why shouldn't they be able to benefit? But it also, I believe, it should be regulated more. It just, in my personal opinion, if you had the ability to make it even to where small schools had a little bit more money to play with as far as to compete with the bigger names, the 5 stars like big schools, I think it would help out a little more as well. But, that's just my opinion. I think it has a long way to go. It's still in its infancy.
Totally.
But, yeah, man, this was a fun episode. Like I said, this was our first official mock draft episode with the draft starting tomorrow. Again, let us know who your favorite team is and who you want your team to draft. And make sure you like, subscribe, and comment. We're about to get out of here. It's been real. I'm Jack. This is
MT.
If you got any final thoughts or if you don't, we out of here. Bear down.